You sit there, fully aware of what needs to be done. The deadline is approaching, and yet you wait. Not because you forgot, not because you don't care, but because deep down you know you can pull it off at the last minute. If this feels familiar, you've probably been called lazy more than once, maybe even by yourself. But what if this behavior isn't laziness at all? What if it's a side effect of a mind that works a little too well? Let's talk about the psychology behind why intelligent people procrastinate. We often assume procrastination is about poor discipline, but for many smart people, it starts with something else entirely: perception. When your brain can see 10 steps ahead, a simple task never feels simple. You don't just see the assignment, you see every possible outcome, every way it could be improved, and every way it could fall short. So instead of starting imperfectly, you pause. You wait for clarity, or motivation, or the right moment. This is sometimes called analysis paralysis, but it feels more like being trapped inside your own foresight. Then there's the perfectionist trap. You might recognize this one. You care deeply about doing things well, but that care quietly turns into pressure. Starting the task means confronting the gap between what you imagine and what you can realistically produce right now, and that gap feels uncomfortable. So you delay, not because you're incapable, but because you don't want to create something that doesn't match your internal standards. Waiting becomes a way to protect your identity as someone who's good at things. But there's a deeper layer beneath that. For many intelligent people, procrastination is tied to fear, not the obvious kind, but a subtler version. Fear of failure doesn't always look like panic. Sometimes it looks like avoidance. If you don't fully commit, then any outcome feels less personal. You weren't really trying anyway, right? This creates a psychological safety net. The mind quietly says, if I fail, it's because I didn't start early, not because I'm not smart. Procrastination becomes a defense mechanism, shielding self-worth. And then comes the paradox that confuses everyone else. Smart people often work best under pressure. When the deadline is close, the noise in the mind disappears. There's no room for overthinking, no time to chase perfection. The task becomes urgent, simple, and clear. The brain locks in, focus sharpens, and suddenly the same person who couldn't start produces impressive work in a short time. This reinforces the habit. Your mind learns that waiting works, even if it's exhausting. But here's what rarely gets said. This cycle isn't effortless. It takes a quiet toll. The constant guilt, the background anxiety, the sense that you're wasting potential, even when you're not. Smart procrastinators often live with the feeling that they're always slightly behind themselves, that they could be more consistent, more disciplined, more at ease. But the truth is, their minds are built for depth, not urgency, and modern life rewards urgency relentlessly. So procrastination in this context isn't a flaw, it's a signal, a sign of a mind that sees complexity, protects itself, and waits for conditions that feel psychologically safe. The question isn't, how do I stop procrastinating forever? It's, what am I protecting myself from when I delay? Some people delay because they overthink, some because they fear falling short, some because pressure is the only thing that quiets their mind. Which one feels most like you? Let me know in the comments.
And don't forget to subscribe to the channel for more such informative content.